welcome to the Calgary Herald video series. My name is Joe. Beautiful South Glenmore Park today. This is Hart.
Hi there.
This video series is a nice way for you to open up your legs, your hips, and get yourself ready for whatever activity you are excited about getting back to this summer. If that's biking or golfing or gardening or walking, hiking, even sitting outside in the grass. This is a really nice way to just get yourself open and ready for whatever you need to do. We know that most injuries happen in the summer as we get back into our activities, and if you can keep your body warm and supple and open before you start your activities, you're going to feel better when you're done. And that always enables you to repeat and do the same thing the next day and get back to it. Okay, so I'm going to have Hart stand up. We're going to start off with one sun salute. And so he's just going to turn and face me. You can bring his hands together in front of his heart. Yeah, and just take a moment here and just be thankful for where you are and that you have the ability to move your body and to practice. Good, and now as Hart takes an inhale, he's going to reach his arms all the way up. Maybe even look up, take a big breath, and then as he breathes out, he's going to open his arms wide, bring his hands down to the floor. And if your hands don't quite touch the floor, you can always use something underneath your hands. You can always bend your knees. You're going to let your head relax. Good. And so this is just a really good way to open up the backs of your legs. You can play a little bit with your energy here. You can draw up from the backs of your heels. Just pull up right to your hips, and you're going to feel that. And then you can go the opposite way and push down from the middle of the back of your hips all the way down to your heels, and just feel that. Good. Now from here, we're going to come to a downward dog. So Hart's going to bring his hands on either side of his feet and step his right foot all the way back and his left foot back. And we come to downward dog. He's going to press his hands down and away, send his heart back, press his thighs back. Good. If your back is tight or your legs are tight, you're just going to bend your knees. Let's have Hart do that too. Here, bend your knees and then lift your hips up nice and high. Good. And then you take this opportunity to look at your feet. Be here for a few breaths. You can wag your tail a little bit side to side. Just open up your legs and your hips. Good. From here, we're going to come forward to a plank position. Hart's going to inhale, take his shoulders over his wrists. Yeah, you're going to do that too. And good. Then he's going to lift his thighs up. So there's no sinking here. Push back through your heels. And then as he exhales, he's going to take his knees down to the floor or to the earth and lower himself all the way down. Good. Okay, from here, we're going to take a cobra pose and open up the shoulders. So the tops of the feet are going to go flat. You're going to press all 10 toenails into the floor and hug your heels towards each other. Yeah, you're going to lift your shoulders up away from the floor. Bring your shoulder blades together. And now take a moment here and draw your belly in. That's going to keep your back nice and safe. And then as he inhales, he's going to lift his head and his heart up off the floor. You're going to keep a bend in his elbows and keep the shoulders moving back. Yes, beautiful. Nice. This is a great pose to get yourself ready, especially if you're biking to the summer. Good. Come all the way down. And from here, I'm going to have Hart just tuck his toes under. Press up to your hands and your knees. Good. And then he's going to take a rest in child's pose for a moment. So he's going to separate his knees apart, big toes touch. Bring his hips to his heels and rest your forehead. Good. Okay, so if you're doing this at home, I would encourage you to push pause and do a few sun salutes. You can do them slower. Once you get the action, that's a full body warm-up you're going to do right there. Good. Okay, so from here, I'm going to have Hart come up to his hands and his knees. Good. He's going to step whichever leg is better for you, Hart. Let's do the left one. I think that will be good. Is that okay?
I'd rather go
right. Okay. Right foot's going to come between the hands. You're going to do both sides, so it doesn't really matter where you start. So we start here in a bent knee lunge, and we're outside. I have a blanket. I'm going to give it to Hart just to put underneath his left knee, and that's a nice thing to do no matter where you are. Good. If you're outside or in your house. Okay, so he's in this bent knee lunge. If your hands don't quite touch the floor, you're just going to throw blocks if you have them, or books or something underneath your hands. Good. Okay, from here now I'm going to have Hart bring his fingers together and place them right on top of his right thigh. He's going to take an inhale, lift his heart, bring his shoulders back like he did in Cobra. And then as you exhale, you're going to let your hips drop down and forward. Yes, and you can stay right here with your hands exactly as they are, or you can bring your arms down by your side and then inhale and lift up. Yes, reach up. Beautiful. Good. As he exhales, you'll bring your hands down on either side of your foot. We're just going to straighten that front leg. We move to a half Hanumanasana. Hanumanasana is the Sanskrit word for the splits pose. There's a beautiful story behind it. But so this is a half splits. And so Heart has straightened his right leg. He's lifted the sole of his foot up. So that is going to help to open up the back of your calf. And then he's going to take his right hip and he's just going to pull it back. And you're going to do that too. And that's going to really wake up and fire your leg. So you can stay right here. If you have the flexibility to go deeper, you can walk your hands forward and start to lay yourself over your leg. And I say that like, you know, whatever happens here, the head to the knee is where the pose goes, but you take your time and you work on that action of grounding the right heel down and pulling the hip back and breathing. And that is going to be a really good friend for you. Eventually this pose, like I said, moves to the full splits and you just start to walk your leg further out, but that's for another video. Okay, from here, Heart's going to walk his hands back. You're going to inhale, lift yourself up. Good, and shift yourself forward back to your bent knee lunge. Good, from here we're going to move to lizard pose. And so Heart's going to bring his right hand to the inside of his right leg. You're going to heel toe your right foot out to the right more and turn your toes out. So you have your knee right over your ankle. And so Heart, you're going to bring your foot up a little bit. Good. Now you're going to keep that knee over the ankle and you're going to walk your hands now over to the left side in Heart's case. Good. And then you're just going to pause here. You're going to soften through your heart. You can stay right here. You can go to the next step of the pose, which is to bring the forearms down to the floor. And you do that carefully and slowly and see how it feels. And if it really doesn't feel good for you and it's like, ugh, I'm not happy here, then go to the place where you're happiest because that's where you can relax and be where you are. Good. So you would stay here for like anywhere between at least five breaths, a little longer if you like it, a little less if you need to. But for the brevity of this video, I'm going to have Heart come up. So he'll bring his hands flat. Good. And walk himself around. Good. Our last pose we're going to do here is pigeon prep. And so he'll take his right foot now and he's going to heel toe it all the way over to the left until his right knee comes down to the floor. And you can even bring your right heel in more so it comes just above the left hip, the left groin. Yes. Okay, now the back leg, so he has his toes tucked under. Yeah, you can use that, maybe just press the heel back and walk the leg back a little bit more. And then the top of the foot can come down to the floor over there and the hands can come in front here. Feels good. Good. And you can come on down and take a rest. So maybe you're going to have this where your forehead can come down and you can rest here. You can always stack your fists under your forehead if you need to. You can stay up on your forearms if you need to. So yoga is not a one-size-fits-all practice. And whatever you see happening here, know that this is years of practice. So Heart has had a committed yoga practice for over 4 years. And so his body has opened nicely and he's able to take these deeper postures. But you just go where you are. That's all you can do. And that's your best, is to be where you need to be. Good. Okay. Good. So from here, Heart will bring his hands to the floor. Tuck his toes under, and I think we're going to press back to a downward dog. Good. He can wag his tail here. It should be a nice difference between the two sides. You should feel it, and then we'll run through the second side. And so I'm just going to let Heart do that while we close off. I'm going to encourage you now to rewind the video and do this second side again. And so hopefully that will be okay. You'll figure that out. And good, Heart. So as you're ready, oh, good. Okay. We'll let you keep going. Thank you so much. Happy yoga. Namaste. And thank you for playing.